What's good? 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 What's good, everybody? This is the JLove podcast with your boy right here, looking at you, looking at y'all right there. Gotta love it. This is your boy JLove, and this is the JLove podcast. Shout out to y'all. Hope you guys are doing great. Your boy's doing good. Living life. This is the first visual. I hope you guys like it. This is going to be the first one that I've recorded as a video. So again, I hope y'all like it. Shout out to you guys again. And let's get going. First of all, before I start this, let me shout out to the lovely Meg Bombs, as she has picked out this gorgeous artwork. Gotta love it. Now that we got all that out the way, let's start. Excuse the train, by the way. We live kind of near a train, and yeah, it's all good. So, as you guys all know, this Saturday and Sunday is WrestleMania. Now, we got some great matches. You know, we got Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Obviously, the big main event match, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Universal Undisputed Heavyweight Championship. And plenty of other matches. We'll get to those here in a second. But the reason why I'm starting out with WrestleMania weekend, live in SoFi Stadium in the gorgeous state of California, Los Angeles. Hopefully it's not raining. But we've all watched pro wrestling at one time or another, whether it was back in the day with the Hogans and the Macho Mans, or you go into the 90s and, the Shawn Michaels, the Stone Colds, Triple H, The Rock, and it does kind of feel like there's a disconnect from that generation of talent to now. Really, the only guy that kind of has sort of created a bridge between those fan bases is John Cena. Who will be at this year's WrestleMania, and even him he's really not The Rock or Stone Cold or Hulk Hogan. Like, he's just not in terms of common non-wrestling fans, how they know John Cena from the wrestling ring. But that's just my opinion. That's just what I've seen. But when we take a look at what Mania had, even going back to the very first WrestleMania, we saw the star power. Vince McMahon loved to showcase it, the showcase of the Immortals. You had Hulk Hogan, Undertaker at one point. You had Mr. T at one point. You had Pamela Anderson at her highest point, 90s. I mean, they had some Floyd Mayweather at his prime. They've had some GOAT celebrity, showings on these cards, and even Ronda Rousey in the first match that she had, you could tell that we were invested in watching her match, and so. Her, Kurt Angle versus Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and it just seemed like Ronda not only knew how to perform at the highest level, but she really took it seriously, and that's something that I think the WWE is kind of lacking this year. If you look at this year's matches, Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes, I mean, to the fan of WWE, they love that stuff. We enjoy Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns main event match. This definitely has some strong fight feel to it. But when you take a look at when you take a look at some of the other talent that's on the card, I mean, Logan Paul, no disrespect to Logan Paul. No disrespect to Logan Paul, but that's not Floyd Mayweather. That's not Ronda Rousey coming out of the MMA world into the wrestling world. And that's not The Rock. I mean, I'm sorry, your boy would have bought a ticket to Mania if it was The Rock. But it doesn't hit in that perspective, which is something that I think most wrestling fans are saying is the reason why they feel this WrestleMania is down. It doesn't have that spark that you would like to see from, and maybe that's because they can't get that star to do that. So obviously you go towards the Johnny Knoxvilles of the world and the real niche type of talents. And so again, Mania this year doesn't have that oh my god factor. No, just sorry. No, don't be using the Lord's name in vain now. But yeah, I just feel like it's lacking that, but it's still, I'm excited. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a big fan of Omos. I don't care what anybody says. I'm a big fan of Bobby Lashley and, LA Knight and some of these other guys that kind of are throwbacks to the traditional style of what we assume is a WWE superstar. Obviously everybody has their own flavor of ice cream, if you will, of professional wrestling. But what is considered box office is traditionally a top tier athlete with the chiseled body that's larger than life, that doesn't look like somebody that you would know or would be a normal guy. I think when you look at WWE, it is larger than life. It's better than the normal person. When you go back and look at guys like Yokozuna, guys like Undertaker, guys like Kane, guys like the big guy, even guys like Braun Strowman. Strowman is like 6'7", 350 pounds. The guy can move like a tractor trailer. The guy, he's just a boss hog. Those are things that you won't get. It's unnormal, and I just think that going into Mania, Mania and enjoying some of these matches. I mean, Omos, Brock Lesnar, boy. A lot of people, they questioned that at the beginning. They questioned this match. They said things like, "Oh, nobody wants to see Omos. Nobody wants to see that." Until you got both of those guys in the ring. And it just, the electricity. I mean, you saw it from the fans. People go to these events to see these moments, and what a moment. What a moment. Brock Lesnar, Omos, you just felt the electricity, and that's a marquee match. The Omos is a showcase. He's not necessarily a guy that he may never be a world champion, but he draws money because he's 7 foot and he runs like he runs like a 250-pound dude. It's just, a lot of people question him. A lot of people say he's boring. A lot of people, don't get that concept of, hey, this guy draws money. This guy is a draw. And I'm excited for those matches. The guys that are naysayed a lot, or told no, this guy won't draw money. Omos won't draw money. Brock Lesnar won't Brock Lesnar has a face that won't draw money. And we're slowly, Dominic Mysterio. Whew, Dominic Mysterio, boy. Let me tell you about Dominic Mysterio. I remember him, we all remember him as a young kid coming in, and he had that, obviously he was a little guy came in the ring with Ray whenever Ray would have a good showing, and you'd see his family in there, and you saw Dominic, and you saw that twinkle in his eye, even as a kid when you saw him in the middle between him and his Uncle Eddie, and he's just, you could tell he had just at his young age, he was able to come in and really understand the business of professional wrestling. And I just think Dominic Mysterio was born to be a professional wrestler. And you had all these people on social media and the Twitter sphere, and wrestling Twitter just is it's a whole nother beast, but we won't even go into that. It's a totally different subject. But they just cooked him. They said he was, he came into the WWE, started wrestling, and they just started cooking him. They said he was boring. They said he could never really, he's not developed enough in his body. He can't, do some of the things that a typical WWE superstar can do. And it just, over time, you've seen him get a little better every time. A little better on the mic. A little better in character work. A little better in the ring. And a little bit better in the air. And you see these little tweaks, and you go back and look at how he started till now, and it's night and day. His body's bigger. He's really developed into his character as a jailbird of sorts. I don't know. Obviously, if you haven't been watching, Dominic Mysterio was a go-lucky guy who gets picked up by Judgment Day and turns into a real bad apple. And one night spends a night in jail. And ever since then, you've just seen a different. The attitude is different. This feels a lot like what happened with Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero was, I don't want to say boring, but he was boring. He was boring. When he first came to the WCW, and then Lord behold, as he was able to kind of catch on as a bad guy, and the rest is history. And I think going into WrestleMania, Dominic Mysterio is sort of in that same mold of character work. I think he's gotten better over time, and he's about to take on his dad at WrestleMania. Who hasn't grown up as a kid and felt like, man, if I could fight my dad, I could beat my dad, and just to have that moment in the ring with your own dad, the man you've seen win world titles and have great 5-star matches on Mania. Just, he's wrestled them all, and to have that experienced talent as a father, Dominic's gonna be a good one, boy. But I'm excited for this match. Him and Ray are about to tear it down. I'm excited. As I said before, John Cena's got a match. He's about to take on this young kid, Austin Theory. For those of you who don't know who Austin Theory is, he's a brash young kid who believes he's got next. And he does. I mean, he's the current United States champion. He's beaten Bobby Lashley. He's beaten Seth Rollins. He just needs that one win to get him over the hump. And that's what this could be if he beats John Cena, who has headlined more WrestleManias than Hogan. I mean, John Cena's the man when it comes to WrestleMania. And the span of dominance that the Doctor of Thugonomics had over his career is just, it's legendary, and to get that kind of a win over a guy that's passing the torch to the next, you gotta love it. And that's something that it's relatable. A lot of people, especially us as men, we grow up, brash and hungry, ready to be the best. And sometimes, like myself, sometimes in some cases like mine, you go through adversity and you learn you learn over time that, hey, maybe I was attacking my goals the wrong way. And I think if you go back and look at Austin Theory, he got the accolades, had what you would call a main event match last year at WrestleMania against Pat McAfee, and had a showing against Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, in the most watched WrestleMania ever. So to then move forward in his career, win the United States Championship, lose the United States Championship, win Money in the Bank, lose Money in the Bank. It's adversity, and the kid has fought through it, and beaten Seth Rollins, beaten Bobby Lashley, and now he needs that John Cena win more than ever. Boy, I tell you, if Austin Theory beats John Cena, woo, think about that. If Austin Theory beats John Cena, I don't care what anybody says, that's going to be a what we saw when John Cena beat JBL for the WWE Championship and got him over that hump. I know this isn't for a world title, but if he beats John Cena, that's a legacy win. That's a catapulting win to the top of the mountain. And actually, going back on what I just said right now, John Cena beating Big Show was that match. Was that, oh, this guy's for real. This guy pushed through adversity, lost a tournament, at the beginning of the year, lost a huge match that would have catapulted him to the top earlier than, 2 years earlier. So to fight through some of that adversity, lose your United States Championship, or lose some momentum going into the match, and then not the United States Championship, fought through some adversity, through some tournaments and some bad losses, and to beat the Big Show for the championship, who at the time was a dominant United States champion, 7 foot tall. Who was on the roster that was going to beat him? And for John Cena to come in, give him what was back then considered the FU, what is now called the attitude adjustment, putting him on his shoulders, putting 500 pounds on the shoulders and slamming him to the mat. It was epic. And to me, if Austin Theory could beat a guy like that, that's what that kind of a win would do. It would catapult Austin Theory right to the top. And I'm excited. I think it's going to be a hellacious matchup. And then let's get into some women's matches. Obviously, Bianca Belair, Asuka. Bianca Belair and Asuka. Talk about two dominant champions, because over the last 3 years, these two women have held the Raw roster down more than anybody. These two women were carrying the Raw Women's Championship for the last few years. Obviously, Becky Lynch and Sasha did their thing on the respective, at the time when they were champs. But Asuka, she carried that belt for over a year. She was the dominant one. And obviously, she ended up losing it to Becky. But Bianca, she's done that and more. Who is on the Raw roster right now that you could even argue could beat her today? There's really no one. I mean, even Rhea Ripley winning going for the SmackDown title, I think that kind of, I don't want to say she's scared, but I mean, to go in there and not fight for an opportunity to beat the most dominant women's champion in recent history in Bianca. I mean, she was scared a little bit, and I don't blame her. So I think Asuka's the perfect woman right now to go up against Bianca, because Asuka ain't scared of nothing. And to play these little mind games with Bianca too. Bianca is not faced an opponent like this. This is not something that they normally do with Bianca. Bianca likes to be the fastest, be the strongest, be the quick, she's the EST for a reason. So she ain't the scariest. She ain't the scariest now. So, I'm highly, I'm just a big fan of this matchup. I think both of these two women are about to put a showdown, and I'm excited. I think it's gonna be what we all believe is going to be that style of match that they normally put on at Mania between two, I don't want to say heavyweight, but two mega star talents. You go back and look back in the day, man, a couple of days ago, I went back and watched Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels at Mania. Whew. Whew. I saw Chris Jericho, Shawn Michaels. Whew. And those were mid-card matches. Those were mid-card, non-title, barn burner matches. That's what these women can do. And obviously it's for the Raw Women's Championship. I get all of that. But to showcase these two talented women, superstar women, whew, I can't wait. I can't wait. Both of these women's championship matches are going to be epic. And then we got Damage Control versus Lita, Trish, and Becky. Becky and Lita obviously are to us fans, we all know they are the tag team champions right now. And Trish kind of helped them out against Damage Control a couple weeks ago, and now they're about to tear the roof off at WrestleMania. And these 6 women, they got it all going on. Dakota Kai, Io Sky, formerly known as Io Shirai, and then obviously Bayley. I mean, the accolades that she has it stands alone. All time top 5 women's talent, top 10, top 5 male talent in some cases as well. I mean, she's an all timer. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. And for Bayley to latch on to these two women, young, talented women like Dakota Kai and Io Sky, to do the proverbial push, if you will, to catapult them into stardom and allow those two to learn national television. That's something that I think, obviously this isn't, the part of the story, but going into the Damage Control, what I love about it is it gives Io Sky and Dakota Kai that ability to latch on to a higher level of talent that it takes to be on these national television shows. National television shows, excuse me. It's cool. It's cool to see, because a lot of times what WWE would do is they would take talent from their developmental and just bring them up, not really give them something to do, not really have any plans for them, just bring them up and say, hey, whatever happens, happens. And I feel like now under new leadership, they've been able to get past all that. They've been able to get past the roadblock of not knowing what to do with these people, because they have a plan with them before they bring them in. So going into Damage Control, when we saw them, I believe 2 SummerSlams ago, so about 2 years ago, at first, you think, oh, well, these people don't really, these 3 don't really fit together. But then you think about it, and they're all hungry. They all feed off of they just feed off of the same energy. All 3 of them want to be the best. Io Sky, whoo. Right now it's training wheels. They're just letting her, develop her character on a national level. But man, whoo. When Io Sky is able to kind of take the training wheels off, she's going to be a good one. But Damage Control, that was a group that I think most people didn't understand at first, but I think we all now understand that, hey, that was a good decision by all to kind of get that going. And then definitely, what can't you say about Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish? I mean, the gold that they all have held over time is ridiculous. I mean, at one point, Lita and Trish were the women's division. Those two were the gals that can get other women over. Yeah, I mean, Jazz, when she beat Trish for the title, when Molly Holly beat Trish for the title, I mean, you would catapult other stars off of Trish and Lita back in the, attitude ish days of wrestling. And she's a legend. All three of those women are legends, but to see all three of them together in the ring, it's magic. And I'm excited. I think Trish and Lita to be to still look this good in the ring, to be this, like, it's uncanny to see talent in professional wrestling get to this stage in their career and still be at a top tier level. And Trish Stratus and Lita are definitely in that category. And I love it because it to me, doing this catapults other women, in my opinion, because it shows the younger generation, hey, you can still have a successful life and still be a part of the business. Take some time off, develop your family, do you, and then come back to this. This is not something that you have to stop like it was back in the day. If you look at some of the women that were in the WWE and other promotions of professional wrestling, they all kind of stopped in their 30s because they didn't know if they had a career after then, due to looks or whatever that were selling back in the day. And I just think Bayley and Charlotte and Lita and Trish are just great examples of women that can carry on their career for years and continue to develop their character. Every time we see Lita, it's a little different. It's a little different this time. And you still get that same energy. You still get the same character. Bianca Belair is another one. I think Bianca Belair can wrestle until she wants to stop. I think she's a talent that who's to say she can't do this for another 20 years as the EST of professional wrestling. It's unbelievable. Even going into other promotions and seeing a girl like the former Paige, who's Sarai now. Who's to say that she can't do this for another 5-10 years? It's just it's not the same as it used to be. And so I'm definitely excited for this match. And yeah, I just look at the card and that Roman and Cody Rhodes, man. That Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. And I can't even pick who I want to win, because some days I'm like, oh, give me some Cody Rhodes, man. That'd be epic if he could win a world title. I've seen Cody. I remember Cody when Cody's first match in the WWE. I'll never forget. I'll never forget this. When Cody had his first match, I forgot what pay-per-view it was, but I don't care. But he was in a tag team match, and I'll never forget. He was supposed to be Hardcore Holly's tag team partner. Him and Hardcore Holly, that was his vet. Those guys were putting in great matches as a tag team, and they were going to compete for the tag team titles. And that didn't exactly take place because Cody decided to do the old switcheroo and switch partners on him, and him and his new partner Ted DiBiase Jr. Ended up walking out with the tag titles. And ever since then, you just saw it. You just felt like, hey, this guy can potentially down the road be a world champion if he continues to develop. And he kind of did. Cody's doing his thing. He's a young lad. I think he said he started out 21 years old, doing the damn thing as a young pup. learning the ropes, learning what it takes to be on the road, learning what it takes to be a world champion. And Cody thought he could just do it all in 3 years. Obviously that's hindsight, but Cody thought he could win a world title early. And he's chilling with Randy Orton. He's they're doing the damn thing. And shout out to the Buckeyes. I just saw the Lady Buckeyes just beat UConn in the tournament. Shout out. So Cody was doing the damn thing, and it wasn't until after he lost the training wheels of Ted DiBiase and Randy Orton that he wasn't ready. The character wasn't there. Dashing Cody Rhodes, that was good stuff. I thought it was good stuff. Him and Randy Orton, the series of matches that those two had, that was some good television, boy. And I'm a fan. I don't care what anybody says. I thought Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton back in the day was good. I don't care what anybody says. That's for me. That's my personal opinion. If you don't like it, that's cool. We'll be friends. Hey, I don't make no enemies, but to me, that was some good wrestling. And so again, Cody matured over time, but the character wasn't there, and you see the similarities to what he has in Roman Reigns. How long did it take Roman Reigns to be the tribal chief, the head of the table? How long did it take for him to do that? It took him years because we knew Roman Reigns, but we didn't know Roman Reigns. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't understand who this guy was other than the guy Roman Reigns. There was no personality. There was no oomph in the character Roman Reigns. You could only have him beat Brock. You couldn't. Even when he beat Brock, when he beat Undertaker, there was no this. This Roman Reigns is the final form. And I think him and Cody kind of have a lot of similarities because it took them time. They were given the spot and it still took them more time. They were not ready to go. Neither one of them were great on the mic. Going back to Cody Rhodes, he was never great on the mic. He would doubt himself. He even switching up, going to Stardust, it was like kind of weird and it was never him. It was never him. And same thing for Roman. It was never him. And for Roman, it took some time off television. It took him, to have to go through his trials and tribulations with his health. And I think for Cody, it was leaving the WWE and saying, what can I do to not be that anymore? What can I do to not be that version of Cody Rhodes? And I think both of these two give you a story that's very relatable. You think you're the shit. You think you're at your job. You think you know everything. You think you're all good. Hey, I got this. I can be manager in 2 months. I'm straight. And it's just not there. The bosses don't know who you are. You don't really have a bond with everybody. No one knows the real you. And then because they don't know the real you ain't getting that promotion. You ain't getting that Brock Lesnar win at WrestleMania. Are you crazy? You can't sell merch. Guys don't know you know you. The guys in the back know you. We all know you're a superstar talent. But these fans don't buy it. And that was the problem with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes is the fans, not me. I bought it. I thought Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes were, okay, you got next. But I think of it from the perspective of a WWE fan. I come out of it from the perspective of, hey, what they give me is what I buy into because that's why they're putting it on TV. If they wanted my opinion, they would ask for it, right? So that's how that's how I see it. I'm watching TV. I'm watching a show. And that's how they want me to tune my brain and watch this program. And I think there's a lot of fans out there that just don't buy that. They know what they like. They know what they want to see. They want to see great character work. They want to see great mic work. They want to see that back and forth. And neither one of those guys had it. Cody Rhodes was not great on the mic and Roman wasn't either. And so it took some seasoning For Roman, it was that time off. He got his body right. He got your boy got the veneers, and with Cody, he dyed his hair. He started wearing the jackets. He was going to these other promotions and coming out big time. He got his own music. The boy got the music that we all know. We all know Cody Rhodes' theme song, whether you like it or not, whether you want to or not. As soon as those drums hit, it's go time. It's go time. And Cody got on the indie scene, won some titles, won some matches, did some incredible things overseas. And he learned from those experiences. He understood crowd work. He understood character work. He got better. He started wearing the suits. Like I said, he dyed his hair. He got the neck tattoo. He became the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. And that's what led him back to the stage of stages, bringing it all together. That's what brought him back to the stages of all stages. And to take on Roman Reigns for the top title, a belt that a lot of people didn't see him winning. His own father, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, has never won this belt. This boy has wrestling in his blood, and he wants this more than anything. And Roman Reigns, too, he's got wrestling in his blood. His entire family has been dripped in gold in the WWE for a long time. And Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. We've only got a taste of it. These two haven't been in the ring at the same time, but once or twice. So to see Roman Reigns and Cody live in the ring this week, tune in, folks. Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown are going to be epic. And I can't wait. I love the WWE. I grew up. I remember my dad sitting me and my brothers in front of the TV. And obviously we watched Nickelodeon, Disney, all the kids stuff. But my dad used to always sit us in front of the television and watch WrestleMania, WrestleMania 5, WrestleMania 6, WrestleMania 7, WrestleMania 8. Those were the years me and my brothers used to sit and watch Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, Randy Savage, Sid Justice before he became Sid Vicious, the Rockers. I'm talking Bret Hart. I mean, the Hart Foundation, the British Bulldogs. I can go on and on. Coco Beware, my boy Coco Beware. Like, Andre the Giant, Undertaker, Jake the Snake, Rowdy Piper, Demolition, the Nasty Boys, Ric Flair. I mean, this was my life. This was my childhood. These guys were larger than life. I looked at these guys like I did Marvel. I looked at these guys like I look at any other superhero that I knew of. Hulk Hogan was right there. I used to always think, who would win, Hogan or Batman? What a match. What a match that would be. Hogan versus Batman. And then I get older and, you see The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and how larger than life those guys were. Shawn obviously not as big in physically as big, but just his larger than life persona, the Mr. Showtime, the showstopper, HBK, HB Shizzle himself. The boy was dripped in all of what you need to be a superstar talent, and I loved it. I thought Shawn Michaels was great. I thought The Rock was great, and that's what carried me on in my life to enjoy professional wrestling, to continue the push of being a fan, and I love it. My girl, she clowns me for it a little bit, but she enjoys it when she watches it with me too, and I'm excited. It's Mania weekend, folks. Woo. I can't wait. WrestleMania, boy. And I know, obviously, I would have loved to go out there. I'm not too far from Los Angeles, but I would have loved to get The Rock. What would have been to see The Rock one more time. Probably one last time. but well, it would have been phenomenal. But WrestleMania is going to be epic. I'm excited. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to watch what's coming up. Obviously, we got the NBA playoffs coming up. Guys are missing some games, relaxing some injuries, doing, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the dead period, but it's the dead period. If you ask a lot of teams, if you ask what's going on, this load management thing, guys are hurt. And we got Kevin Durant coming back on Wednesday. But I'm just waiting for the playoffs. LeBron James is supposed to be back here pretty soon. I just want to get to the playoffs. I just can't wait. I want to see the matchups. I want to line up the matchups and see who's really going to make these finals. Because we act like the positioning ain't going to matter, especially in the West. We act like the positioning doesn't matter, and it will. If Denver has to play, again, I've been saying this from podcast to podcast. I don't care if you guys haven't listened. I am not a Denver Nuggets guy. You will never hear me say Denver's the best team in the West. You'll never hear me say that. You'll never hear me say Denver's going to win the world champion. You'll never hear me say that, because the one thing that they lack is the one thing that it takes to win a title, and that's defense. Nobody plays defense on Denver. I don't care. Nope. Nobody plays defense on that team. Nobody does. And that's what they're lacking. Jokic is not a rim defender. He's a good big. He's obviously top 1, 2, or 3 best bigs in the league. He don't play no defense. He don't get no blocks. He gets rebounds, but he don't get no blocks. And I think not having that guy KCP obviously is a decent defender, but he's not the on-ball defender. He's the wing defender. They don't have a on-ball shut down the other team's best guard. They don't have that on this team. And that's scary, because when you play these other teams and you look at a Dallas that scores a lot of points, they don't defend anything either. But you look at a team like Memphis, bringing John Moran off the bench. That's a continuous flow of offense. Eventually he'll be a starter, but he'll come back to the starting lineup. But that's just something that I think Denver lacks. They have 4 great shooters, or 4 great scorers, but do they have enough to win a title? I don't see it. But again, I just think the West is open for business. I think if you asked 10 people who's going to win the West, I think you'll get 10 different answers, because that's how good it is. That's how That's how stacked these teams are, and I'm excited. I think the Western Conference is going to be just fire all day. Every series in the West is going to be dope. I don't know about the East. I'm not ready to say that about the East yet. I have a little the Knicks, Miami, Atlanta, Toronto. The East is a little top heavy. The 4th best team, Cleveland, and the Knicks, I think they could swap by. I think it's just Cleveland's young. If Cleveland had a bunch of veteran guys on it, like the Knicks do, I think Cleveland they're right there, I think, with the Celtics and Bucks and Sixers. I think Cleveland at their best, the Cavs at their best, I think can compete with anybody. They got Donovan Mitchell, they got Darius Garland. They got Mobley, who's coming into, he's coming into his own. He's becoming that guy that I think a lot of people thought he could be, and be that star player that we all know. So, Jared Allen on the team. You got some bench, some a little depth. I think Cleveland's as good as anybody. I think especially Carlos LeVert, to me, is going to be that X factor for them, because they don't, Ricky Rubio, I don't know if he'll get back to what he was last year. I think Cleveland hopes that too, but really Carlos LeVert is going to have to carry that, because if you look at the rest of that squad, none of those guys outside of outside of the big 3, Garland, Mitchell, and Mobley, none of those guys really know how to score at a high level. Carlos LeVert can put up a lot of points when he wants to, and I think Jared Allen too, but really Carlos LeVert, especially if he's coming off the bench, He's going to have to be a guy that puts in, 10 points? 10 to 15 points a night? And you're just praying that you can get that. If you can get that, I think they can go all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. If you're not getting that, it's going to be hard. But I'm excited. I can't wait to the playoffs. But right now, it's the dog days. Guys are missing time. The load management, as they call it, the metrics show that it works. And so, as a fan, when you see that they're not giving it their all, it's hard to watch. And I'm just ready for the playoffs already, to be honest. I've seen too much bad basketball. I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the college tournament, the March Madness, NCAA tournament this year. Not a fan of it. I 4 of the top 6 players in the draft ain't even playing in college basketball. It's hard to watch. There's guys that are producing, but so did Shabazz Napier. I mean, do you want me to watch 7 different Shabazz Napiers? No, there's some talent. Miller from Alabama, he's talented. I'm not saying that there's no talent, but when you look at the Thompson twins, when you see my boy Scoot, that's my boy in this year's draft. I think he could be as good as any guard in the NBA, depending on what team he goes to. And then obviously Big Victor. That's the kind of talent that I think a team that's having a high. I mean, I look at it from the draft perspective. I don't know about you guys, but I look at it from the draft perspective, and there's a lot of second round before you look at some first round talent. Not being any disrespectful to nobody, and that's a fair criticism to say, because look at a guy like Donovan Mitchell. Look at a guy like Devin Booker. We've seen guys. The 2 young wing players, one out of Gonzaga, the other one out of Arizona, both of those 2 guys have been putting in monster work for Indiana, and those guys weren't considered top-tier guys. Those guys, neither one of those 2 were considered top dogs. So when you see, top-tier or mid-level talent turn into a superstar, that's what you want. And that's what I think this draft is going to be. It's very superstar top 5 players are going to be, who we all expect them to be. And then you're going to see a lot of players that, went to maybe Ohio State or maybe went to Kansas or, somewhere where they weren't seasoned correctly in college, really blossom in the NBA in this, as a second rounder or a late first rounder. And I think that's good for the league. I think you can get cheap talent like that. I think you can get guys. I mean, look at Kenyon Martin's son coming in, dropping 23 points off the bench. Or the other night, I think he got 31 or something like that. I mean, those are guys that are steals that you can find in the draft and develop. And look at a guy like Austin Reeves, just a guy that you develop, and over the last few years has earned the right to be a starter, to be on the court with a legend, to help out your superstar talent like Anthony Davis. I mean, the other night, last Sunday, your boy dropped 35. 35. Mayo Mamba. But I'm excited. I think the Lakers have a great shot to win it all. That's just my personal opinion. This is the JLove podcast. If you get on your own podcast and you think Denver's going to win a championship, that's all good. But that's not going to be on your boy's podcast. Your boy is saying the Lakers have just as much of a chance to win a championship as the Denver Nuggets. And I stand by that. I might be wrong. I might be wrong, but the last time I checked, Lakers top 10 the best defensive team in basketball. The metrics say it, not me. The metrics say it. And I think it's real when you play good defense. It is a real thing to play good defense in the NBA now, because nobody does. When's the last time you saw a defensive battle on the floor? It's usually the Saturday night games, right? Usually, if you go back and look at the Celtics Sixers last month, Bucks Sixers without Giannis, the Sixers came back down 19, came all the way back and won on the road. I mean, hey, you can't do more better. You can't do any better than that. You can't do any better than that. And so I think those are obviously in the playoffs. We're going to see teams play good defense, and the switching and the maneuvering that these teams are going to be doing, the chest matches that you're going to see, the gamesmanship that you're going to see is going to be epic, and I'm excited. I know I say that all the time. That's going to be my catchphrases. I'm excited. But I am. I think this is going to be a great finals. This reminds me of the bubble a little bit, just because if you turn off social media and you just get to the grind of the playoffs, you could see there's a lot of stars in this league. And I think when they all have a showcase game, when they all have a stage to show it, it shows. And I think you saw it with Embiid when Embiid went out on national television and said, Jokic, hey, real quick, you know that MVP thing? That's mine. And he dropped 35 and 10, or 35 and 10 on him. I mean, he was the man that night, and he dominated Jokic top to bottom. I don't care what anybody says. He dominated Jokic in that game, and you saw from that moment on, you understood why people think Embiid is the number one dude in the NBA, because the boy can play defense. He is a rim protector that can dominate on the offensive boards and dominate in the paint, hit that three, run the floor. I mean, this boy is elite. And that is coming from a 76er fan, so it's a little biased, but again, I'm excited. I think these are going to be fun games, and I hope you guys I hope you guys are excited for that too. I think I think there are going to be some classics. I think there's going to be some moments here where, just like what we saw out of Tatum last year, I think we're going to see that from Darius Garland and from Embiid and from Tyrese Maxey and from from some of these other guys that are getting into the D-Lo, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt. Aaron Gordon might have a couple of games where he drops 27. You're the San Jose boy. I'm just excited. I think these are going to be some great matches, or some great games, and I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you guys love this video form of this podcast. This was great talking to y'all, and this is good. This is therapeutic for me. Just a personal note on my end. I stopped smoking weed. I know it's not a big deal. I know it's not a big thing, but for me, I was doing it on a daily basis, and right now I think it's best for me to get my mind right, get my health right, get my spirit right, and really attack life in that manner, rather than doing it through smoking a little weed every now and then, or on a daily basis. But I'm doing great. I'm a week off. A week tomorrow, I'll be a week from it. So that's my little journey. Going to the gym, trying to do it the natural way, trying to do it, the right way, and it's doing good. My body's kind of changing from the bad habits to the good habits, and I could feel it. I try to do push-ups and sit-ups every day, and it feels good. I can feel my body changing already, and I love it. I can't wait to continue this journey. I can't wait to continue my sports journey as well as a podcasting journey. I hope you guys have a fabulous weekend, and I'll see y'all next episode. This is your boy JLove, and this is the JLove Podcast. I'll see y'all next time. Deuces!